All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Community Collective podcast. I am the original flip-flop agent, Johnny B. Good, and I'm joined by my beautiful and stunning co-host, Mr. Travis Howell. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, good. We've been with each other for a little while today.
Yeah.
I just keep gazing your way, and it just brightens my day up a little bit,
Because
right?
I'm wearing this beautiful blue. It's
it
a
is.
very sour fall day in Michigan. What are you going to do, though, right?
I know, right? It's, you get the blue going on. You're celebrating the Lions.
Yes, I am celebrating the Lions. It's always Victory Monday here at the RE/MAX Edge office.
It is. But it's been a good day. We've been talking quite a bit. We've had a lot of good podcasts we've been recording recently to just have some fun with it and get some new information out to the community.
We're not very fun people, so we have to have fun guests on to tell us about all the cool stuff they do in the communities, right?
It makes us feel like we know what's going on, and we're inside track.
We're contributing.
Yes,
contributing to the community zeitgeist, as they say. Isn't that perfect?
It is. Look at that.
I'm excited because our guest today actually works in the same office I do.
Right.
And that's pretty entertaining. But we're not here to talk about real estate today. We're here to talk about a holiday lighting business. So, Travis, why don't you make an introduction here for our buddy Allan, and let's get this interview started.
So who hasn't taken their kids and driven around looking at lights at Christmas time? That's what we do. We'll get hot chocolate, we'll get some type of food, and just drive around with the kids. And so you probably wonder, how do, you don't go by my house because I'm doing it myself, right? Man, that guy didn't fall off the ladder. Clark Griswold is not living there, type of deal.
Yeah.
But I drive by and we sit there and think, man, that house looks really good, or those trees are done amazingly.
Or our RE/MAX Edge office here right on South State Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you wondered about that. So the nice thing is we know a guy, we're very excited to have Allan Hobson in. And Allan, welcome to the Community Collective podcast. And you own your own business doing Christmas lights. So what remind me, make sure I get it right. Is it Light You Up?
Light You Up, yes, sir.
Yes, Light You Up. Oh, what a name.
Yes.
They come up with
I'm going to light you up.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that you didn't think about that when you named the business Light You Up.
Exactly. It took probably about a month and a half of different names that we were going back and forth on and kind of testing it between a lot of my friends and what I thought would be best, and that's what we came up with. And I've really liked it since. It's kind of stuck, and it's a really easy name to remember.
Oh, it absolutely brings a smile to my face.
Oh, it does.
For some reason, it makes me think of Evander Holyfield, and Tyson getting his ear bit off. But that's just me being weird and strange. But Light You Up is an amazing business name. I absolutely love it. So why don't we jump right into it? What inspired you to start this? Because from an outsider's perspective, much like myself, we're just crushing the real estate game. Did you think you needed a side hustle? Was it something you saw online? Give us some of the backstory into what really brought Light You Up into reality.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I get that question quite a bit too. What had started this was a lifelong passion and childhood memories of me and my father lighting up our childhood home, and it started with, a couple thousand lights, and it over the years transformed into what was 35,000 Christmas lights.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a big project. And
that's awesome.
I feel like, once again, Clark Griswold, someone turned on that nuclear energy thing just at the Hobson house just to make sure the lights all stay on, right?
That's a beaut, Clark.
And that's what it felt like at the end. Once we finally got all the lights on, it was basically like one big switch, and wow, yeah. So that's kind of how it all started, is hanging up a bunch of Christmas lights at my father's property, and years went down the road and some things happened with his health that stopped him from being able to do it all himself, me and him. And from there, I was still wanting the Christmas tradition to go along, and I had grown very fond and loved the lights myself at that point. I would start hanging up the Christmas lights, and my dad would pay me a little bit of extra money to hire out my friends so that they could help in getting the install done in time.
Mm-hmm.
From there, at that point, I was about 16, 17 years old and had about 2 or 3 guys working, helping me get this light install done for, a job. And at that point, my business mind had brought me to, if there's people in this world that love Christmas lights and love to have them up, but do not have the means to do it, that seems like a pretty good business niche right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love it. And so when did you, quote unquote, what was the founding year for Light You Up?
So the founding year, Light You Up was established in 2021.
Okay.
That was our first season. So we did work all of 2021, and we have been running ever since and growing steadily.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, and I think too, probably when we've talked a little bit, it's nonstop busy, and it starts early. Because I think of me, like I put my Christmas lights up around Thanksgiving time. It's when I have some free time, and the weather's somewhat decent, but I'm only doing a little bit. But if you're doing thousands of lights on a house,
we usually start somewhere between October 1st and October 21st. Last year it was the 21st. This year it's going to be the 1st because we have around 100 homes. And really what kind of inspired the Christmas lighting was being in real estate and knowing that the winter is a lot slower and not many people want to move during the winter. So I know that's a time being where I can capture a lot of money in other ways.
Sure. No, that's a great idea. So knowing that, and again, here's us veering off in conversation. If you're doing 100 homes, how many light bulbs is that?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, honestly. So it depends because on tree work, we use what's called mini lights. So there's going to be anywhere from 50 to 70 lights on a strand. Whereas the other roofline lights is only one bulb per foot or foot and a quarter.
Okay.
So that being said, if I had to take a guess, I'd say between the 100 homes, we probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 150,000 to 200,000 bulbs.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
I feel like I want to get a map of where all these houses are that Allan does and just drive to those and look at them.
Oh, I know. That's perfect.
You have that many lights on
We could work on that.
Yeah, we should, right? Yeah.
So do you use like the newer LED style bulbs?
Yes, we do. We use only the most energy efficient LED bulbs. We do have some customers that request the old incandescent style bulbs, and that's just an unfortunate scenario that we do not stock those because of the fact that you can only run so many bulbs on one line without it overloading the circuit.
Sure.
And then on top of that, the longevity of the life of the bulb, along with the cost that it incurs the client on the lighting bill on the back end.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. And again, here's me veering off all of our pre-planned questions. But if we're looking at some of these bulbs, are some of them like the controllable ones that can change different colors, or do you have like the same colors, the same structure?
So that is a great question as well. We do get that one here and there. So to answer that question, the bulbs that color change, those are called RGB bulbs.
Okay.
The RGB bulbs that are offered for a seasonal and not permanent style of lighting, we choose not to offer because we have tested them and there are many problems with them. And with our business model, as far as everything being hands off for the client and us maintaining everything and making sure that everything is working perfectly, it is too much of a liability really for our company. And we don't want to back a product that we see problems within. We want to back a product that is 100% and on all aspects of it.
Sure.
So that being said, if somebody is looking for an RGB style color changing lighting display, you would most likely want to go with a permanent style lighting, which is going to be a little bit more than your traditional lighting, but you're also not doing it on a yearly fee.
Sure.
Well, and our family loves it when we can drive up the one, roll down the windows, and hear some music going too. Do you have those requests sometimes where someone's like, I want every time someone comes up, the lights go to the music or anything like that?
I'd say about once or twice a year we get a request like that, and that is another thing as well too that we unfortunately have to turn away from because the time that we would spend on one job doing the one job, we would not be able to serve as many families as we can doing just roof line lighting and non-RGB pixelated with music synchronized as well.
Well, it has to be a difficult thing too. I'm sure too, you guys also are good about if there's an issue, if something doesn't work, they're calling you guys to come help resolve that. And I'm sure if the music gets off or something like that, that's a lot of extra work for you guys, but I love I think the colors and the designs that people do. And it's very, I would say it's one of our traditions. So I think that's what I love when I started talking to you and learned about your business, that it's something like, I think we all recognize it.
And I'll be honest, I have a bone to pick with everybody that starts celebrating Christmas before Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is my holiday.
Oh yeah.
Christmas is great, whatever. Consumerism. But Thanksgiving, that's the food and football, baby.
Yeah.
But I do get it. There's a finite amount of time. So having to start, by the time this episode airs, you'll be deep in the midst of, light you up holiday season business.
Absolutely.
So knowing that's the case, and this is why we're doing this episode early before you're, knee deep in the season, how do you deal with the seasonality? You touched on it a little bit, it's a little bit slower in real estate, during these, those Halloween to Christmas months, right?
Absolutely.
So for the last quarter of the year, essentially. But what do you do for the other 9 months of the year? Are you trying to build additional business? Are advertising it? What do you do to really help keep yourself busy and keep that focus on the business? Because even though people may not be using, the lights, it's still a business that's going to have reoccurring business every year.
Yeah, so that's also another good question. And so, what we have in the past done is we have just done Christmas lighting throughout the year. So we've only done our lighting 3 months out of the year, and I've sold real estate throughout the rest of the years. But this year, actually, we're looking to expand into the permanent lighting industry. We have done a job or two so far, and we're looking to get into that. That way, we can keep our employees busy year round as well, so that they stay busy. But also, the demand of permanent lighting has went up. You just mentioned it yourself a second ago about the color changing bulbs, and essentially that's what it is in the end of the day, is permanent lighting. So that being said, it's a growing demand, and we are looking to expand into that. But more or less as well, for in the years past, what we have done is we've tried to maintain our relationships with our clients that we do have, and ask them if there's anything we could do to better our service, or if they did have a great service, and if they know anybody else that loves Christmas lights just as much as they do. We offer referral programs to our current clients. That way, if they can refer us to somebody that successfully closes a job, we will give them a discount each year on their bill. Essentially, where if they referred us enough people, we would hang their Christmas lights for free every year.
Wow.
We do that, and then we also network with other foundations, companies, things like that, and we try to do fundraisers. I know we supported the Homes First Day Care that Harvey Matthews runs, and that was a great turnout in the Flint Farmers Market. And we've also sponsored Men Motivating Men, and then a couple other foundations in the local Genesee County area. So those are just some ways that we also obviously try to stay busy. But with it being only a 3-month season, we also have all of our inventory management, color changing clients that, want a different color scheme the next year. So we really start working in late August, early September.
Yeah.
And we start changing out. I've had guys at the office last week working about 4 hours a day, about 3 or 4 days a week. So getting consistent hours, just making sure that everything is ready for the season. That way, when we're out in the field, everything runs smooth and there's no hiccups. No, we're not out.
You don't want to be sitting on the roof of a 3-story house trying to change out bulbs. You want to know that when you get up there, everything's going to work. You can get it rocking and rolling right off the bat.
Absolutely. Yep. Definitely a lot of preventative maintenance throughout the season to make sure everything's through the off season, make sure everything runs smooth in the season.
For sure. And there's all the work that people don't take into account.
No.
Oh, it can't be that hard. You're putting lights up. What does that take you? A couple hours on a Wednesday afternoon?
But you're doing a couple hundred houses or businesses.
Right.
I imagine you got to get that organized months ahead. Just that way you're ready to get going. Because I'm sure everybody that wants those lights are ready to get them up and get them going.
Oh yeah, we have people that just actually emailed us today and said that we could install the lights right now if we wanted.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She said we're getting our Christmas trees installed early this year, and it's going to be early Christmas around the whole house. She said, "Come whenever you want. We're gonna be there October 1st."
Yeah,
there you go.
She got first on the list that way.
Yeah.
So this is something I think people need to know too. While we're talking about it, Allan, with anyone that's listening and wants to know how they get their Christmas lights up and can hire you guys, and we want to make sure we cover this a couple times. How can they contact Light You Up to get in your big list of houses or businesses?
Yeah, so we do have a couple ways to contact us. The best and most direct way would just be our website. So that's lightsupmi.com. That's lightshtsupmi.com. And then on there, you can see all of our past work and request a quote right on there. And then basically see all of our packages, our services, and everything that we offer as a company. You can go to our page on Facebook at Light You Up LLC, and that will be where the most latest up-to-date work will be posted.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I would say I'll have to check this out because I would be honest, I would love to see a video of you guys up on a roof installing lights.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be really fascinating to watch. So I don't know if you've ever done that. I've hopped on the Facebook and looked around a little bit, but if you guys did that, probably got to make sure they're doing it the right way and doing it safely. But
I'm an absolute liability because I do get up on my roof in flip-flops, and it's not a great idea. Yeah. So sorry, Allan, I'm off the books. I can't help you out this year.
Yeah, that's in the training manual. Closed-toe shoes is required. Sorry, Johnny.
Yeah. I guess I'm working on the ground today.
But to note back on what you said there, Travis, we have a video right now that we're working on. It's 90% done. It has good drone footage, good, just a real good message. And it gives a whole overview of what a job looks like almost from start to finish in a 30-second little reel.
Nice.
That's
Look,
great.
I'm a mind reader. I knew he was going to talk about
right.
this. I just knew it.
Telling you, the community collective, man, we're just breaking down barriers left and
right. But I think that'd be exciting because I would love to watch that and then make sure we can share it as a chamber to just show people how this works and how to get a hold of you guys. And I think that's the interesting part. And I'm sure you've been doing it for so long and how you got started with your dad. And I'm sure you had to be creative because I'm sure there's clients or people that want it that sometimes leave the creativity up to you all to kind of propose something to you or to them, I should say, our ideas, or they come to you and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What can you guys do with that? So, Allan, what is the approach to designing like custom holiday light displays? And do you have any of them that have really stuck out to you as being unique or just kind of really fun to do as a team when you guys go put lights up?
Yeah, so I mean that's a very important part of our process is the design and consultation process because a lot of clients come to us and they have an idea of what they would like, but they also usually always give the end answer of, but we're open to ideas because you guys are the professionals.
Right.
So a lot of times people might just want a front roof line of their house done, but they have an attached garage and then a lot of windows on the left side of the house. If you just do the front of the house, that would look great. But if you combine it with a garage door wrap and the windows, it might also look better as well. And if their budget allows that, then why not do that? Because we'd have it look better than worse, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So really there's a big process when it comes to designing and consultation. So if originally we would have the initial consultation and visitation, that's where we come out to the property, we get an idea of what the client wants, what they're looking for, and then what their budget is. And then from there, we would go on and design a mock-up of their design of how they would like it, along with the pricing and everything else. Then we would send them an ideal mock-up of what we thought would look good. And then most of the time within that, we'll find a equal medium ground where they might not want to do everything that we suggested, but they do see the value in some of the things that we suggested. So they pick one or two of the items as well.
Sure.
So that's kind of the client review and feedback stage of it. And then as far as material selection and preparation, we just really look into what type of bulb might fit it best, whether it's if it's over 30-foot tall tree, we like to use the C7 or C9 bulbs. If it's anything under, we'll use mini lights. So really we kind of go based on what we need at that point. And then from there, we make sure that we have all the right insulation materials and then we install.
Right.
As long as the client's okay with the design, of course.
I know. And to be honest, my house is so mismatched sometimes. Deanna likes the white lights. The kids have always, we want color everywhere.
Right.
And so like we do the medium of, I'm just going to wrap like a light post or like last year I did a tree. So it makes no rhyme or rhythm how it works. You got something on like the chimney.
Right.
It's just really about making them happy. But I'm sure, that part, you guys, it's a lot of work that goes into getting a house ready for a design and even a business. And I'm sure, like you said, people change it up year to year sometimes. What might work, so your files change when you come up to it.
So that's one of the beauties of our business model is we do offer a free color change from year to year as well, so that if somebody sees something driving down the road and they say, hey, that would look really good on our house, then we do offer that possibility to be able to, color change from year to year. So that's something that I think that a lot of our clients do really thoroughly enjoy.
So do you ever get some pictures where someone will take a picture of someone else's house or business and send it to you, hey, can you do this to our house next year? Or they're seeing these other creative things that they want to challenge you with.
We most definitely do. And the very nice thing about that is we do have a software program where we can, if say they send us a picture and it's like a red and white candy cane look, we can take the picture of their house and give them the mock-up of it. So basically we could take the red and white bulbs and show them what it would look like, but it will always look better in person, obviously, than a mock-up, but it'll give them an idea of, hey, what would this color look like on your house?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's amazing.
So do you have one project that really stuck out to you as really fun to do, or you were excited about a challenge that they offered you?
Yeah, I actually have probably two in mind. So I did a really big job in DeWitt last year for a church. That was a whole drive-through display that the city and the church got to enjoy. We wrapped 36 trees that were about 30 to 35 foot tall.
Wow.
And then over 800 foot of roof line lighting on the church, along with 24 bushes in the front of the church as well, too.
Holy cow.
That job, I believe, had over 40 or 50,000 lights on the one job.
Wow. That's so crazy.
That'd be really fun.
That's a big one. Are you doing that one again this year?
Yes, we are. That's a 3-year contract.
That's awesome.
That's kind of fun. I think that you get those challenges of where you have someone like me, like have a basic house, but then you get like a giant church that's partnering with a community to do it. And that probably is kind of fun because not only is it just people like me driving by, but that's a whole community enjoying something, and it shows that partnership that just bring that like kind of that little bit of festivity and excitement for families and creating memories. And I think that's what's very unique about your business. Is my family has this tradition of driving around looking at lights, but you're part of that. I'm sure there's probably been houses we drove by that you guys have worked on, and my family remembers those. Our kids are like, oh, that looks so cool to see, or that's our favorite.
So what's the other one? If we had the big one with the church, what's the second one?
So the big one with the church is my favorite residential job that we've done. And then so the church is my biggest commercial job and my favorite job. But as far as my favorite residential job, that would have to be, we work for the family of the Bronners in Frankenmuth. If you know what Bronners is, that's the world's largest Christmas store. And we have the honor of being able to do work for the Bronners family, actually.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do 2 huge 50-foot trees in the front of their driveway, and then we light up their whole house, and then their driveway gets stake lighting down their 300-foot driveway.
Wow.
It's a really beautiful project.
Talk about expectations. You got like basically the Christmas family of the world, I feel like, and there's, hey, come decorate our house for Christmas.
Yes. That's fantastic.
That is amazing.
Was that just a cold call, or did you know somebody?
No, that was actually through marketing that we had done in the area of Frankenmuth, because we do have a lot of business in Frankenmuth. That's our second biggest city. We have 9 or 10 accounts out there. And we were just, hammering it hard on the marketing, and she had reached out. And I tell you what, when I seen the quote request come across with the last name Bronner, it definitely did make me feel a little bit like, I really had to make sure I nailed that job. And we did nothing.
Take a breath and for a moment, like, okay, I got to relax and I'll get this done.
Oh my God, if I don't get this right, Santa's giving me coal forever.
Right, or you'll never be invited back into Bronners ever again.
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's super cool to see.
Yeah. That shows you, I think, how important and fun, this industry is for you guys. Light You Up is everywhere.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun in the industry. And it, like, you mentioned, Travis, as far as, you going around to all the homes and everything like that, and your kids and family enjoying it. That's something that we really take pride in, is knowing that we're doing something that not just us and the family that we're serving is getting pride out of it, but there's going to be many cars that pass by and many families that are going to smile at the houses. And, that's one of the main reasons why myself, I continue to do it, is because I love seeing the kids' reaction when they see a house that's, beautifully lit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the fun part. And you get to be creative. I think this is your business is all about creativity.
Well, and I think what I love about it most is because you and I we have shared experiences in real estate. Everything in real estate's always different, right? So for those of us that suffer from ADHD, and I've never been diagnosed, but it sure seems relevant, it's nice because real estate's always different. I always have to approach it from a different perspective. It's never a cookie cutter. It's never the same. And that's very representative of how you're working on these individual homes. No 2 homes are alike. Each one has its own thing, because all the lighting that you do is custom, right?
Yes, it's all custom cut to the people's roof line. So wherever their roof line ends, we'll cut it and then add a male or female or whatever is needed at that time.
Sure.
Okay.
Which is huge, so make sure everybody understands that when you're listening to this podcast, the key thing is that all of these lights are custom tailored to your specific home.
Right.
It's not like they're just taking the boxes from Menards and opening them up and then just popping them up on your roof. This is an actual commercial setup that's custom cut to your home.
Yeah. So, and all this stuff too, real quick, random question. What is your favorite color of Christmas light?
Ooh, that's a really good one.
Pressure.
So of late, I've been a very big fan of the blue and white because, of course, go Lions.
Yep.
Oh.
And just how it reflects off of most houses. I don't think The only other color I would say I would choose if the house I was doing was all brick, I would go with a red and white because I really like how the red bounces off the brick. But if it was just regular siding, any other color, I would go with blue and white personally, just because I love the way that it pops.
Johnny?
Restore the roar, baby.
Oh, there you go.
Restore the roar.
Oh, so there's your new design for your lighting at your house.
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Lions theme.
Yep. Honolulu blue, baby.
Especially during that time of year, they're making a big push.
Yep.
Just to win
everything
it all again.
Win it all.
Win it all. So, Allan, when you guys are out there, like Johnny mentioned before, you're climbing up on any size of house, and you're talking about doing tall trees, 40, 50-foot trees. There has to be some sort of safety measures, and probably had to be pretty innovative on how you're doing this. So what are some of the risks that are involved that you guys have to be aware of, and that you work with your team to make sure everyone stays safe? Especially not knowing this time of year what the weather's going to be. One day it could be 80 degrees, or it could be rainy and just freezing cold, or you might have an ice storm. You guys really have to prioritize your safety and making sure that you're probably using technology that's obviously going to be weather safe as well. So kind of fill us in on that process.
Yeah, so that's definitely it is our key point in our business is, we always want to make the client's home look great first, but safety comes number one over how the job looks. If we can't safely do a job, we will turn it away. We have turned jobs away because the client may not want to pay for a lift if it's needed. And we are not going to put our guys in situations where they are putting their lives at risk. However, there are times where we are up on the roofs and we don't have a lift, but that is okay because we do use proper safety. So we have devices that are OSHA approved that go over the peaks of the roofs, and we harness into them. And then we also have a device called the GOAT ladder, which is a ladder that runs down basically the scale of your roof. And then also our guys, most of the time, if they're on the roof, are wearing a harness or safety gear. They're also trained on installation to make sure that they're being safe on the roof, looking out for anything that, could be hazardous. And then they also get trained on proper ladder use as well.
Nice.
This is always my worry, is that when I start putting Christmas lights up and I go around our chimney and stuff, if Deanna's not home, I am afraid that my ladder's going to fall, and I'm just going to be chilling on the roof when she gets back. And
hey, it's the days of cell phones. Everybody's got their cell phone. Make sure that baby's in your pocket.
That's what you hope, right? Until I start slipping, my phone flies out. That's in my head.
It's true.
That's all I'm thinking about. And then I don't know if you'd be my first call at all. I don't know if you.
No, don't call me.
No,
that was stupid.
And I'm afraid my kids might just sit there. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
Need a sandwich?
Yeah,
So it is. Yeah. So I think it's pretty fascinating though. You see guys, I think, putting new roofs on, but when you guys are up there, you're having to do probably some pretty interesting angles, and you're leaning down at some point, or you're climbing up so many things.
You're right on the edge of the roof.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned, we definitely try to use safety mechanisms to be able to minimize the safety risk. But there's also other risk besides just falling off of the roof. There's risk of property damage. Mm-hmm. There's risk of electrical fires. So we always try to make sure that whatever circuit or plug that we're going into, we make sure that the circuit at the breaker has not been overloaded by other appliances.
Sure.
We also pull the current amps that we're going to be pulling from the lights that we use to make sure that it's not overloading that circuit as well too. So that being said, we try to be very cautious as well, not only for our safety, but for the safety of the client as well too, of the home.
Right.
So that being said,
and that's super important and even more relevant because if you're using a lot of lights, even though they're LED, they're still going to pull a fair amount of amperage on those lights.
Yeah. And you want to make sure too, just because you're using LED lights doesn't mean that they're outdoor rated UL lights, because there is LED lights that are meant for indoor use only.
Sure.
So the same thing goes with extension cords. You want to make sure that you're using outdoor rated extension cords and something that's certified to be outside.
Right.
Yep. So that's all things that, we make sure that we train our guys on, and then that we also have knowledge upon so that we can inform the client or customer about why it's right or wrong.
No, that makes perfect sense. That's good. That from a safety perspective, that's great, because I would want to make sure my house, my most valuable asset, is protected as well. Yeah, and we don't want to pull a Griswold.
No. And I know you mentioned, Johnny, as far as, when people get new roofs, things like that. And that's also another part of their training when they're getting trained on being on the roof, is to look for any weak signs in a roof, to look for any, fraying or any fraying, gone, missing shingles,
Yep.
weak spots. So that way we can bring that up to the customer, because just because we might not be falling through right now doesn't mean that next season or whenever we come back, we might not be, because there could be an active leak in the plywood underneath is softening. So we always try to be very mindful when we are walking on the roof, not only for anything that is on it, but the roof in itself, or the gutters or the eaves or anything. So that way we can keep our client up to date on their own property as well.
I think too, how many people are getting on the roofs on a year-to-year basis to check on it?
Almost none.
None, right? And so you guys are basically helping people out sometimes. If there's something going on, you can let them know you are helping that homeowner. Now, obviously, it's a big expense on that side of things, but you're someone that's inspecting it early enough for them as you're working.
And to that point, this just popped into my head. Do you hire a lot of roofers in the off season to do this work?
No. So actually we have tried to hire them, but we don't really get too many that want to work.
They just want to keep roofing through the winter.
No, a lot of them like them like their winter off, or they just don't like to work.
Yeah. Hey, they made their money during the nice months, right? They want to take a little vacay.
There is a market for it, however, though.
Yes, absolutely. As we kind of near the end of today's podcast, one of the things that you did hit on is plans for expansion. So knowing that there is a seasonal aspect to this business, you did talk a little bit about like permanent light installations and stuff like that. Is that where you see Light You Up moving to in the future? Or is it more that you're really just going to focus on the holidays? What do you see, or where do you see the business going in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's definitely a big time window. I see within the next year or two, definitely us incurring and starting to do more permanent lighting jobs, as like I mentioned, it's becoming more and more of a thing to the general public as well.
Sure.
It's kind of a little bit early on technology, I would say, to most of the people, but obviously you're a little bit up to date on technology, so you know about it and things like that. I definitely see it being something that we incorporate in our business over the next 5 to 10 years for sure. And I love the fact that my company name is very broad. It's just Light You Up, but then the holiday light installation is what we do. So Light You Up can be used in a plethora of different things.
Sure.
So what I plan to do is definitely permanent lighting, and then as long as that goes well, I might also look into doing event lighting, as such as weddings, big corporate meetings, things of that nature, because there's still definitely a market for that. And anything I can do to keep my guys busy and get more lights shining in this world, I'm definitely willing to do.
I love it.
I like that. Light shining in the world.
Yep.
It really does. It brings a lot of happiness. That's what I feel like. When's the last time you looked at Christmas lights? Oh, that's a bummer.
Me. Every year with 4 kids. Oh my God. Consumerism's killing us all.
Basically, after Thanksgiving, you become the Grinch.
Yes.
Yeah, you really do.
I've had my holiday. It's all done. Just end the year done at this point.
Yeah, you're going into hibernation. But I think Alan's right. I think it's one of those things that people want to see the lights. They want to enjoy that holiday season. I think so many families have different experiences or traditions, but I think just bringing that kind of that extra smile to faces, or
it's a great point.
It is,
right? Nobody's, with the exception of me, is upset looking at Christmas lights. It's beautiful to see. We love to see it, especially here in the Great White North.
Oh yeah.
Once we have the time change, which is steadily approaching, it's going to be light damn near at 5, 6 o'clock. So it's just more time for us to be able to look at these lights, right?
Right.
Absolutely. I always say if the cost of the lights can be budgeted, then it always outweighs it with the joy that you get out of the lights.
Oh, without a doubt. I think you should pop up a map of where you have all your light installations, so we can all go do a Light You Up tour.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Throughout the Tri-County area. That'd be a ton of fun.
I like it. Yeah.
So let's talk real quick about service areas. So we know that you live in Genesee County, do a lot of work in Genesee County, but neighboring counties, where do you basically go for your light installations at this point?
Yeah, so I have about a 60-mile radius of Genesee County, so each way really. I've gone as far down as St. Clair Shores, as far southwest as Canton.
Okay.
And then as far west as DeWitt, Lansing area.
Yep.
And then as far north as Midland, Freeland area.
Wow. That's great.
So
Yeah. So you're everywhere.
That is.
Yeah. And I like the fact that I am centrally located in Genesee County, so it makes it very accessible to reach all these different areas.
Sure.
So really, like I said, a 60-mile radius of Genesee County. And if the job made sense, I would travel out of state to go do it. So
sure. Yeah, of course. I love that hustle mentality. Got to get it done while you can.
It's hard work, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I'm not Santa Claus. I can't do it all in one night.
That's right. That's right.
I like this.
Yep, that's perfect.
Alan, remind us one more time, for anyone that would love to get holiday lights up and create those memories, what's the best way to reach Light You Up?
Yeah, that's lightsupmi.com, lightsupmi.com.
Perfect. And I'll add that to the show notes as well. So you'll be able to click the link right in the show notes if you guys are listening on your favorite podcasting platforms. And then do you want us to also drop your phone number in there as well?
Yeah, sure. You can do that. Yep. It's 810-835-5684. And you can give me a call anytime for a free quote.
That's perfect. And, if you're not going to come to me for real estate, then definitely follow up with my boy, Allan. He'll take good care of you as well, right?
Well, and give him a call today and go ahead and get those lights scheduled.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
Get on that list. Get on the schedule now. Enjoy 10% off.
Oh, there you go.
That's right there.
Offering discounts to the listeners.
That's right.
Even if it's not just for the listeners. That's all right. I'm going to tell them it's for them.
It is.
We're here to make you feel special, listeners. Hey, Allan, thank you so much for the time today, man. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to being visually stunned by the work that you do. When you get that video as well, send that over to us. We'll be sure to share that on all the socials as well, showing us kind of the start to finish version of the reel for what Light You Up does. And it's great, man. We're looking forward to it. In spite of my disdain for the holidays, I love what you do, and I've seen it firsthand. I'm usually in the office pretty early in the morning. The lights are on the building, looking stunning as usual.
So drive by Remax Edge and check out Allan's display.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks,
Allan,
thanks so much for having me, Johnny. I definitely appreciate it. And thanks, Travis, too, as well.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a great time. We're looking forward to it. The holiday season is upon us, whether we want it to be or not. So for me, Johnny B. Good, the Flip-Flop Agent, and my boy,
Travis Howell,
we will see you next week on the Community Collective. Bye-bye.